Coming to you live from the Soup Studios in beautiful downtown Metrodelphia, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Get set for another thrilling episode of the Crime Buster Deluxe, that Houdini of whodunits, Jack McCoy, Private Eye. Tonight's thrilling episode, Cupid's Just Okay.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. The quote goes on, as I'm sure you know. But we've already reached the crux of my point. That point is, love is bad for business. Maybe not all businesses, but I am a private detective. Not you understand that I'd mind a client or two who was either patient or kind. I seem to attract the opposite for reasons I prefer not to speculate upon. But that's not the problem. The problem is, if you do not envy, you also do not suspect your wife might be seeing a little too much of a certain business associate. If you do not boast, you do not open your mouth at the wrong time and say something you shouldn't. If you are not proud, you accept life's little tribulations with an honest and accepting nature. All of this means you do not walk into my office and tell me you need my help. Love is, as I say, bad for business. Jealousy and lust, however, those are my bread and butter. And before your dirty little minds make something out of that picture, my story begins with the entrance of someone who inspires neither of those things.
Oh, hey, Mr. Detective Fellow. Wake up.
Ethel, I resent that. Why do you assume I was asleep?
Well, if you've been awake looking like that and haven't done anything about it, you have bigger problems.
Don't be silly, Ethel. Of course I've been awake. Your presence indicates it must be bust my chops o'clock, and I would never sleep in so late on a Tuesday.
It's Friday.
It is?
No, but again, the fact that you didn't know
that... right. The rent is not due for 4 more days. However, knowing your habits as I do, I have prepared payment early. I was hired to find out who was putting counterfeit bills into the cash register at a grocer who preferred not to have to call the FBI. Here is an envelope with this month's rent as proof of my competence. It is even in cash, so I don't have to hear you ride me about the possibility of bouncing a check. It's been a pleasure doing business with you, Ethel. Now scram, would you?
Uh-huh. So, this is the rent for this month?
Paid in full.
Oh, what about the rent for last month, which you still haven't paid?
I haven't?
You haven't.
Then here is a check for last month's rent.
Is it any good?
I would ask, as a courtesy between business associates such as ourselves, that you refrain from cashing that check for an as-yet-to-be unspecified time while I make certain arrangements to, Or you could make confetti out of that check and return at a later time when I have your payment.
It so happens I have a better idea.
That concept fills me with terror to my very core. But go ahead.
I happen to know somebody who needs the help of a skilled detective. If you can pretend to be one for long enough to solve her case, I'll let last month's rent slide.
That is unusually generous of you. I mean, it's a reasonable arrangement for anybody else, but for you, it's Scrooge after the ghost's level of kindness. I am, of course, suspicious.
Oh, relax, Mr. Detective. I want you to help my niece. And you know, with me, family comes first.
I did not even know you had a niece. I assume this is from your older sibling.
Why do you say that?
Because the alternative is your parents continued to have children after you, which strains credibility.
Oh, are you giving up detective work to become a comedian? In that case, I'll just go ahead and start filling out the eviction paperwork now.
Oh, boy. If it will keep what passes for the peace around here, I will take your niece's case. I have only one condition.
Which is?
You leave while I talk to her. Whatever her problem is, I don't want her leaving out important details because she doesn't want her dear old auntie to be scandalized.
Oh, hey, who are you calling old?
You. Was that not clear somehow?
Oh, all right, wise guy detective. She's outside. I'll bring her in and you can have a chat with her.
No listening at the door, Ethel!
Yeah.
Heredity is a subject I did not excel in when it came up in biology. The whole concept of recessive genes is fuzzy to me. Therefore, the fact that I didn't understand how the woman who walked through my door could possibly be related to my landlady was not a surprise to me. She wasn't drop-dead gorgeous, you understand, but she was undeniably pretty in a slightly mousy kind of way. Her voice was not the kind of thing I expected to hear in my deepest, darkest nightmares. Most especially, my keen powers of deduction saw her smile when she walked in the door. It was a kind smile, meant to indicate she hoped meeting me, a complete stranger, was going to be a pleasant experience for the two of us. In other words, the Ethel gene seemed to be completely missing from her biochemistry altogether. Nice to meet you, miss. Jack McCoy, Private Eye.
Amy Carpenter.
What can I do for you, Miss Carpenter?
I need you to, that is...
Hold that thought for just 1 second.
Ow!
I said no listening at the door.
Right. I'm going.
You were saying?
Thank you for that. This is embarrassing enough without, well, you know.
Far more than I'd like to. But no need to be embarrassed. Think of me like a doctor, or like a priest.
That seems problematic.
I've been told so, yes. But the fact remains that whatever you say will remain between us. So, for confidentiality purposes, I'm like a doctor or a priest. And as for being embarrassed, you can usually assume that I have heard and done about a dozen times worse than what you're about to tell me. Does that help?
Not at all. But I'm a little desperate.
That works too.
I need you to find a man for me.
A specific man?
Yes, very specific.
That should be doable. What's his name?
I don't know.
I see. So the opposite of very specific, then.
You could say that, yes. I met him on only one occasion, and I want you to find out who he is and tell him to call me, but only if he wants to.
And if he doesn't want to?
He does. He said he did. But he could have been lying. Oh, this is a bit confusing. I wonder if there's a better way to tell this story.
You could try a flashback.
Really? You wouldn't mind?
Of course not. Just keep out of the internal monologues and we'll be good.
Is that what you were doing when I came in? I wondered about that. All right, how do I begin?
Just set the scene and wait for the hot music.
All right. The first time I met him was at one of those speed dating things. Ooh, that feels tingly.
You get used to it. You were saying?
Well, there were 20 men and 20 women. The women had the odd numbers and the men had the evens, and we had 3 minutes from the time the bell rang until we had to meet the next person. Hi, I'm number 9.
Hi, I'm number 40.
Ever do one of these before?
Once. I actually met somebody and we were together for almost a year, so I figured I'd give it another go.
Why did you break up?
I kid you not. She went into the witness protection program.
Really?
Honest. Her boss borrowed money from the mob or something, and she found stuff in the books and turned state's evidence. What about you? Is this your first time? That came out a little skeevy, didn't it?
I didn't think so until you mentioned it just now, but I'll let it pass. There's a lot of pressure here. I have no idea what questions to ask.
Well, I don't know if you were asking for help there, but I try to avoid asking about their job. I figure whatever they do there, I won't be with them at the time, so ask about hobbies, interests, the kind of things I might end up doing with the person I'm talking to.
That's not bad. So what are your hobbies?
I paint, usually like landscapes and seascapes. Nothing that would go up in a gallery, but I enjoy it.
That doesn't sound like something we could do together.
It is just possible that I suck at this.
I don't know. I've never really tried painting. Maybe I can set up an easel next to yours and see what I can do. Then we can help clean each other's brushes. All right. That definitely came out a little skeevy.
It sounds delightful.
That can't possibly be 3 minutes.
I think the woman with the bell might be drunk.
It was nice meeting you.
I hope it won't be the last time.
That seemed like a nice little meet-up.
It did, but there was a problem. You see, I had a little notepad next to me, and I had written the even numbers from 2 to 40 on it. If I met someone who was a definite no, I crossed them off the list. We were supposed to give the numbers which interested us to the people who ran the dating service. If you said you were interested with someone who was interested in you, they provided both of you with an email to reach out to.
So you were crossing off the definite no's. Why not circle the definite yeses?
Mr. McCoy, you don't date much, do you?
I prefer not to answer that question.
No need. I can tell. You see, I have been dating for quite some time, but I really don't want to be dating. Dating is what I'm doing to get past the point where I need to go to speed dating events. There are a lot of desperate people at those events, and since I'm not sure I'm not one of them...
You weed out the unacceptable rather than shooting for the moon.
The nice way to think of it is that I'm giving a second look to someone who might not have had a chance to show themselves at their best.
I'm sure that's the nice way. However, I am not a particularly nice person.
I understand. Well, anyway... I really don't think I'll get used to that.
Not everyone does.
Hi, I'm number 9.
Number 40. I'm sorry, I would shake your hand, but...
I understand.
I promise you, I'm not normally like this. I think the woman I was just talking to had a cat. My allergies go crazy.
Cat allergies?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. Not that it matters much. Even if I didn't have allergies, I would have to avoid cats. They seem to hate me for some reason. All cats. They take one look at me and they suddenly attack. Claws, blood everywhere. It's really weird.
I own 2 cats.
Oh. It's gonna be a waste of 3 minutes for the both of us, isn't it?
Probably.
Mind if I check my phone?
So I crossed off number 40, but Allergy Guy was number 14. I just didn't hear him properly because of the stuffiness. When I got home, they sent me an email with the contact information of all the men who were interested in getting to know me. Number 40 wasn't there since I'd crossed him off.
Or possibly because he'd also crossed you off?
I thought that myself, and that's what I'd like you to find out. If he really wasn't interested, well, I guess I'll have to live with that. But the idea that I might have passed up on the love of my life because I scratched off the wrong number... It just doesn't sit right. Does this sound as messed up as I think it does?
It is never in my professional interest to answer such a question one way or another, Miss Carpenter. If someone wants to hire me to find out if Nessie is real, then off to Scotland I go. You want to find out if this man wanted to get to know you better. Then I will do my best to get you that information. If the answer is yes, I will also do my best to find him and provide him your contact information. What does this man look like?
He's 5'9", about 195 pounds, brown hair, and brown eyes.
For the record, that was a description? You were not purposefully listing the statistically average appearance of an American male?
I'm afraid I wasn't.
I suspected nothing less. One quick question before we go any further. Do you want to forget about this loser and date me instead?
Never
mind. I wasn't seriously asking. But if Ethel was still listening at the door, I figured I'd try to give her a heart attack. Unfortunately, my landlady survived. I do mean unfortunately because it meant that I had to take this case. More than almost anything, I did not want to take this case. Finding the right man when I had no name and no useful description was not a likely prospect. Add to that my client's level of expectation. Assuming I could find number 40, and assuming he wanted to meet her, and assuming he wasn't completely creeped out by a woman who would hire a private detective to find him after she met him for less than 2 minutes. Well, even if all those assumptions were true, there was no reason to believe this man was, in fact, the love of her life. I am a big believer in the heart wanting what it wants, but I suspect the only reason Miss Carpenter wanted this so bad was that fate had apparently told her she couldn't have it. But mine was not the reason why. Mine was but to do or be evicted. And so, I collected what little I had to go on, and I made my first sortie on this month's snipe hunt. Hello, I'm looking to speak to Ms. Lovey-Dovey.
Actually, sir, it's pronounced Louvet-Douve. The last Y is silent.
Why?
Yes, the Y is silent.
No, I was asking why the Y... You know what? Never mind. May I speak with her, please?
I'll go see if she's available.
Jackie! Jackie, me boy, is that you?
Sergeant O'Hanlon? I have to admit, yours was not a face I expected to see here today. I assume by the uniform that you're here on duty?
Well, not strictly speaking, no.
And I know you well enough to know that not strictly speaking actually translates to not in the slightest. So if this is not an official visit, what brings you, a married man with more kids than I can count, to a speed dating event for singles?
Oh, saints preserve us. I'm not here for myself, boyo. You see, it's like this. My daughter Penelope has come home. I don't know that you ever met her, Jack. She's been in Indiana for college the last 6 years.
Notre Dame?
How'd you know?
Lucky guess. So you brought your daughter here?
Well, for some reason or t'other, her car was not running. I had just come home from my shift, you see. I didn't have time to change out of the uniform before I drove her here myself.
Uh-huh. O'Hanlon, you know I'm a detective, right? So you also know that I noticed the little smudge of grease on your hand, not to mention the fact that you're carrying your very best nightstick.
Why, whatever do you mean, Jack?
Not a thing. I'm absolutely certain that a man of your upstanding moral character would never fix his daughter's car so it wouldn't run. There is no reason to think such a man would have done so for the express purpose of standing intimidatingly near to any and all young scofflaws who might have romantic intentions towards his daughter.
Oh, well, it looks like you found me out.
If I may offer some unsolicited advice, I'd bet your daughter figured that out for herself. Don't expect a particularly nice Father's Day card this year.
You don't say.
I do say. But out of curiosity, has Penelope been to one of these before? Any chance she might have ran into a man about 5'9", 195 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes?
Afraid not, Jackie boy. I'd have remembered something so distinctive.
Uh-huh.
Are you the detective who called my office?
I'm Jack McCoy, yes. It's nice to meet you, Miss Louvet-Douve?
Dove.
I'm sorry, I was told the second Y was silent.
Why would a Y be silent?
If you would like me to find out, my fee is $65 a day plus expenses. Anyway, I'm here because...
My secretary told me why you called the office. I can't help you.
You mean you won't help me?
Okay, then. I won't help you. There's a lot of weirdos in this world, and the people who come to my events would prefer that I don't share their personal information with them.
My client is hardly a weirdo.
Yeah, I was actually talking about you.
Okay, fine. Forget about telling me the name of the guy I'm looking for. I'll find that out for myself. All I want to know from you is if he, whoever he may be, said he was interested in my client on the day in question. Can you give me that information?
I suppose I can, but I don't see any reason I would.
Miss L, excuse me, but we have a problem.
What is it?
We're short one man, and the event is about to begin.
I thought we had all the men signed up.
One of them had to leave. His wife came and took him home. There was quite a scene. I heard some of the women mentioning they paid to meet a certain number of eligible men, and if we couldn't deliver...
Mr. McCoy, are you both single and straight?
It so happens that I am.
Well, I suppose we can come to an arrangement after all.
And so began one of the most unusual hours of my life. I got to spend a total of 3 minutes each with 20 women looking for the love of their life. I was unsurprised, given my life history, to learn that they were not, for some reason, looking for me. Now, I grant you that 3 minutes might not seem like it was that painful to get through, but consider the following. Hello, I'm number 40.
Hi, I'm number 1.
Oh, I thought I'd met number 1 a few people ago.
No, you don't understand. My number may be 5, but I'm number 1. I'm your number 1 pick. I'm going to be everyone's number 1 pick, and maybe someone will be lucky enough to have me. You should write me down.
I see. You've got quite the competitive streak going there.
It's only a competition when you're not the best. Why are you not writing my number down?
I thought we might get to know each other and...
And write it down.
Sure. And then there was this little exchange. Hello, I'm number 40.
Hi, I'm the number that comes after 12.
You mean
Don't say it, it's bad luck. Oh, I should have just stayed home today. 3 black cats crossed my path this morning.
3? That's a lot of black cats.
I know, I shouldn't have adopted them all, but they're adorable.
Wait, your 3 black cats crossed your path?
They wanted their kibble. What can you do? What is your sign?
What, my zodiac? I'm a Capricorn.
Ah! I knew I was cursed.
I admit, that was educational. I had never seen the hand gesture to ward off the evil eye in person before. Though in her defense, I have since been informed that she used the procedure most people should use when meeting a Capricorn. In my defense, I may have gotten my astrology mixed up, and it's just possible I am actually a Sagittarius. Things did not, as may be expected, improve so much. Hello, I'm number 40.
Number 11. Look, the last 4 guys were unemployed and living with their mothers. Please tell me you have a job.
I do. I'm a private detective, in fact.
So you go around taking pictures of people who are cheating on their spouses?
That is one thing I am occasionally asked to do, yes.
So you're basically a peeping Tom?
I resent that. I am a private investigator.
And the difference is?
I am a peeping Tom with a license who gets paid to do it.
Uh-huh. Do you mind if I check my phone?
I'm number 7. If you say lucky number 7, I might throw up on you.
Duly noted. I'm number 40.
Whatever. So what kind of stuff are you into? I like tattoos.
Yeah, I can see that.
I showed up to work totally naked once. I have so many tattoos nobody noticed. You got any ink?
Well, as a matter of fact, I have one from back when I was in the Navy. Here it is.
A little basic, but not bad. So who's Angie? A girl you were sweet on back then?
It's an interesting story. Not sure we have time.
You woke up after a bender in San Francisco, and you can't remember why you got some girl named Angie's name tattooed on your bicep.
How on earth did you know that?
I know the artist who made that. He does that to drunken sailors all the time.
I see. Well, thank you for solving a mystery that has plagued me for 15 years.
Whatever, man. Do you mind if I check my phone?
Hello, I'm number 40.
I just hate introducing myself with a number. It's so impersonal.
Well, it's what they said we were supposed to do, but for a lovely young lady such as yourself, I will certainly make an exception.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. I always thought older men were more gallant that way. It's kind of a turn-on for me.
Well, I'll try not to use that information for nefarious purposes. My name is Jack.
I'm Penelope.
Ding! 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 Somebody hit the bell! And if you think that was the low point, we have obviously never met. Hello, I'm number...
Ah, crap.
Jonesy, what are you doing here?
It's speed dating, Jack. What do you think I'm doing here?
So even though I know perfectly well my old college flame has my number and the ability to get a hold of me at any time she wants, you've decided to come here and meet other men.
I'm glad that was all clear to you. Yes, I am surprised to see you here.
Jealous?
Do you mind if I check my phone?
Fair enough. No, I'm here on a case, trying to track down one of the guys who came to one of these things a little while ago.
Well, I was here. What did he look like?
5'9", 195, brown hair, brown eyes.
Oh, him. Yeah, we didn't hit it off. Can't help you.
Oy, I can't catch a break today, I tell you.
How do you think I feel? I came here to meet my soulmate, and, well, you showed up instead.
Am I really that much of an albatross around your neck?
Jack, the first thing they tell you before you go on one of these things is don't talk about your ex. You're one of my exes. I'm not talking about this with you.
Wait, what was that?
Do you want me to repeat the part where I said I'm not talking to you?
No, the other part. The part about the exes.
The part I said you're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah. Don't talk about your ex. Jonesy, if it weren't for the fact that I know you have a concealed carry license, I could kiss you. As it is, I owe you a beer.
Sounds like I cracked the whole case for you, and all I get is a beer?
We could split a bottle of wine over a candlelight dinner.
I hear good things about Belgians.
I bought her that Belgian, and then I gave her its 5 friends in identical cans. She earned the whole 6-pack. Because if you're looking for a man that has no distinctive features whatsoever, you're never going to find him. Looking for a guy who used to date a girl who went state's evidence and went into witness protection, now that's a different story altogether. Oh, I'm not saying I could have tracked down his ex and figured out what her new name and identity were, but I could find out what her old identity was. And since I am a detective, and this is what I do for a living, it wasn't too many steps from that until... Miss Carpenter, I believe this is a photograph of the man you were looking for. Am I right?
Yes, that's him. That's him.
Excellent. I have good news, and bad news.
Give me the good news, please.
The first good news is that I not only have his picture, but I spoke to him myself on the phone a few minutes ago. The second good news is that I can confirm that number 40, whose name, I kid you not, is John Smith, did indeed tell the speed dating agency that he wanted to get to know you better.
And the bad news?
Well, I took the liberty of making a dinner reservation for the two of you on Friday at 7:30. The man I spoke to at Chez Magnifique said the dessert chef was taking the night off, and the new guy couldn't make the creme brulee they have a reputation for.
Oh, Mr. McCoy, thank you so much.
I would love to tell you that it was my pleasure. Now, Ethel, I trust that you are satisfied with the conclusion of this case?
You did a good job.
Thank you.
For once in your life.
We are square on the rent, then?
Oh, for last month, sure.
Good. And I paid you cash for this month, so we're square.
Oh, about that. Do you remember telling me you got that money for finding who was passing out fake money?
Yeah.
Did you look at the cash they paid you with?
Oh, boy.
And so ends another thrilling mystery. The course of true love always runs smoother than a detective's bank account. But for Jack McCoy, justice will always be his main squeeze. Tune in next week for another exciting episode of
Jack McCoy, Private Eye.
Ethel, we've talked about this.
No, let her go. She said I could get this month's rent free if I let her do that.
So not worth it.
You've been listening to Jack McCoy, Private Eye, Cupid's Just Okay. Produced by Seat of Our Pants Players, written and directed by Dan Wenzel. Jack was Rick Tennant. Ethel and number 7 was Jill Wenzel. Amy was Rebecca Scheiber. Sergeant O'Hanlon was Dan Wenzel. Cat Allergy Guy and Lovey-Dovey's clerk were Adam Gastonguay. The announcer and John Smith, number 40, were Andrew Dell. Penelope and number 13 were Brianna Kubi. Number 11 and number 1, who was really number 5, were Andy Gastonguay. Lovey-Dovey, Louvet Duvet. Her and Jonesy were Liz Music. Fast Talking by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Other music and sound effects by www.freesfx.co.uk. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you later.